some footage over the weekend of a police officer almost get killed by a headlock. But good motivation to review that. And the idea is to move through various formations of headlocks, different alternatives, but as usual, we always begin with the base layer. Okay, a couple of things. Some of us are getting headlocked. And do we see the problem already? I shouldn't be doing anything at this point other than establishing my base and my position and my platform and ability to actually be able to mount a defense. So just preliminary stuff. Go ahead, headlock me, please. Pull my head down, pull my head down, pull my head down, pull my head down, pull my head down. Good. We shouldn't have let that happen to begin with. So if he goes to headlock, hips are forward. We should never, ever, 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 ever allow and just concede this type of a position. So if you find yourself in a headlock to begin with, things are already well. What I mean by a headlock is posture broken. He can connect his hands. But your posture should be such that your hips are engaged, your spine is straight. You're not going anywhere. If, let's go slow please, he begins to apply the headline and go, oh shoot, it's happening. What is my immediate priority? Base and hip in again. So again, maybe I can minimize the amount of forward bend that I have. If he headlocks me, I concede and I don't have any base, I'll end up in this kind of a situation really, really fast. Real violence happens quick, guys. So go slow, please. Some of us are literally doing this. It's not going to cut it, guys. That's not going to cut it. Base yourself. Here. If he starts to move or whatever, you should be at the base, and we're minimizing. I feel like I can hip bump him now. That's how engaged my hips are. They're alive. They're engaged. I'm not just conceding this position and hoping that a pinch escape is going to be enough to get the job done. I need to position myself in such a way. By the way, let's turn over with Mr. Lesniak. What's this hand back here doing? Finn?
It's like hanging on like to his hip, like making sure he can't move away.
Yeah, a lot of us are doing this kind of thing. The arm's just dangling there, dead. That arm is there. Those of you who know Goshi can clearly see the potential for Goshi. But before Goshi, I have this arm here just in case. If I feel like he's going to headlock me with one and punch with the other, I need to be monitoring that arm. Even if I was here and he starts to swing back, I need to be able to catch that arm. This one's not really going to hurt me in and of itself. This one can get a lot of torque behind it. Here, these are annoying, but you can live with those. And if he opens that up to hit me with this, then you're out to begin with. Okay, so in terms of fundamentals, nice and slow, please. Let's make sure we're not doing this kind of thing. Follow that energy. Make sure you're secure. Then, if this is the defense we're currently working on, work on that. What did you notice happened to my body as soon as he opened up his grip? What do you notice right now about my shoulder orientation? Why is it slanted? Because that's the way he pulled his arm back. Okay, so he opened up his arm, boom, I'm following this guy. Okay, what that means to say is that he pulls my head down, my posture down. As soon as there's any alleviation of that, what's going to happen? Bing! I'm popping right back up. So what I mean to say by that is, go ahead and make an exaggerated release. Why am I still here? The whole time, I'm hipping up. Right? So if he's got me down and that pressure releases, I'm up. I'm up. I'm not staying here inactive. Does everyone understand what I mean? So we're monitoring posture, base, this far arm, and when I feel like I'm good to go, then I'll move through with the rest of the technique. Last but not least, when I'm out of this position. Self-defense is chaotic, I understand, but as a core technique, as a foundation, this foot should more or less mirror his foot. This rear leg, as I pull out, will step back to get positional advantage and also set up the distance for this upcoming foot sweep. A lot of us have a lot of unnecessary footwork going on, where we're doing all kinds of things with our feet, and then our legs are not in the right position or at the right angle to sweep. So, hip in, monitor your base, pinch, grab, step out with the right, and apply your arm bar. Let's just do that. Forget the foot sweep. How'd you play this? Play this game. We'll do this. He grabs me, headlock. Ready? We're here, and we're gonna be suspicious of this arm. Okay. So initially, when he grabs me, I'm gonna monitor this arm. Okay. Everyone got that? Okay. We're here. I'm going to begin my basic defense, basic white belt defense. And I'm just going to do that technique. If at any point he swings that arm back, I'm going to open my arms up. I am not trying to grab him with my hands. I just kind of go ahead and hit me. I just kind of intercept his arm. I'll hug it. If he pulls it back to hit again, we're here. And I'm just going to monitor his arm, and I suck it in this way. He's not going to hit me with this arm. Hit me, please. Good. This is why base is important. What's very likely to happen from here if he can't hit me with this one? Boom. And then we'll move on with life with whatever we're going to end up doing. Make sense? Right. But what we can't do, okay, is just assume that this headlock's always going to remain. He could very well be headlocking you with this one and hitting you with the other. And this partner, yeah, you see how Mr. Camacho, if I don't contain his arm, he's just going to wing it again. Okay? And when he wings it, notice he's doing it in a dynamic, energetic way. We're not playing this game. Okay? That does nothing for me. I want him to get the sensation that he's got it. I feel desperate, boom, and he comes around and does whatever. The second part isn't even the part I'm worried about at this moment. I just want you to be here, monitor that arm. So if he goes to swing right now, I've already got good position, okay? But let's say he's here, I begin my technique, he starts to swing, arm up, boom, hug it in. Kind of go real slow. I throw up the shield, 1, 2. Before, after, doesn't matter. 2 on 1, hug it. Notice I'm not making an effort to get my thumb here. I'm hooking with the wrists and pulling in tight. And then from here, we can do whatever it is we're going to end up doing. Loose? Yes.
Should we just do on that one side for now?
Now, get used to one side and go to the other side.
Yes.
Okay? And again, we're not going full bore to begin with. Get used to the idea, get used to that timing, get used to the idea that I'm here. Right now, that arm that's around the hip could be on my elbow, right? Here. This is already a problem. Well, let's say he begins his basic defense. I start to go, boom, boom, and he's going to wrap that arm up. Loose. Try to get him, you're going to feel it. It's not going to happen. And if his hips are engaged, you can already see the potential. If I slip the arm out to hit him, he's got me. He's got me. But we have to keep the hips engaged, and don't forget that forearm. Yes?
So, normally they keep talking about the pressure with their knees going outward. With your right leg, are you thinking about almost like assumption pressure inwards towards his left, the back of his left thigh?
I don't know if I would think of it like assumption pressure. But I am. You're saying this leg here?
Your right leg against the back of his left thigh.
Depends on the distance. Like as wide as I am now, yeah, there's some internal pressure there. But my concentration isn't so much on the leg as much as it is making sure that, I don't want my hips disengaged and I'm doing stuff with my legs.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're here, boom, hips are engaged. Right, so hit. Right, it's not going to happen. Boom, boom. And then you can move in and do your stuff.
Yeah, I don't feel Sensei's leg at all. I feel this
Pressure for the hip here. And
I mean, it's more on that leg.
Yeah.
It's more on this leg, but it's up here.
It's like almost where you would Uchimata me. Right?
Yes.
Column here. Any head here. So all here. Keeping. No. This is not connection. This is touching. Connection. This. So we got a real chaotic situation, is what we're getting at. One more time. Okay, no defense yet, please. It's not quite as neat and clean, no defense, as we're here. And because it's not, there could be some more chaos here. Make sense? And you're creating some order, you're creating some structure, managing that chaos. Because it will be chaotic. This? Okay. How's your stuff here?
Okay. Whether you're using your body.
Yeah. The reads that you can make on this person's body, right? Everybody familiar with the idea of a pre-fight cue, right? Like, I'm talking to him, suddenly I start to blade, I start looking around, my hands kind of disappear. That should put him like, his awareness level should escalate significantly at that point. Even before it gets physical, there's a combative energy that we're trying to manage, okay? Okay, so, again, in this scenario, I'm very, very concerned about monitoring this arm, okay? Initially, if I go this route, I have kind of an outside wrap of this tricep here, right over his elbow. If he starts to swing back, though, I kind of go where?
Underneath.
Inside. Okay? That makes sense?
Yes.
So, if he starts swinging at me, right, I'm not, now, I have long enough arms, it can work. But my preference is to go inside to protect myself and then trap that arm. And then go from there. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, yes, sir.
I know you said you have one arm so you can reach more on his side.
Yeah.
But it's also okay to even grab here in front.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're having a really, really hard time and you're short, your partner's really long, turn the corner a little bit so that your arms are not here, little tiny T-Rex arms. You're able to turn and hold that a little bit more. Security. Okay, a couple more times, then we'll come back to an arm trap here. Is this stopping from being able to do a Goshi?
No.
Go ahead. Absolutely not. Some of you are abandoning I can't Goshi from there. No, you can't do a Goshi from there. One more time, not too fast. So boom, get that arm trap. Hold it. Yeah, try to punch him, When the Kazushi feels right. Go into that throw. Yeah? Yes.
What about whenever the UK uses the other arm to punch? In that case,
If the uke uses the arm that was a headlock in 2-punch, you're going to immediately clear yourself. Okay, so he has this arm trapped. Right? This arm's out of commission. I decide that I'm going to try and hit him with it. Boom, that's the right response.
because I was trying to do that with Ogoshi, like,
Yeah, no, there's no alternatively. The alternative, if you really wanted a Goshi, you're going to use back of the head pressure against my arm. So if I go back with my arm, you go back.
this,
You understand?
this.
Hit you with this hand, the other one. I follow. But more likely we're going to go here. Not that one. That's just. Hajime. Yes?
When you're trapping the arm, why do you want to go over and sit under?
So when I'm at this point here, I could theoretically control, I can't that well actually, but I can theoretically control forward pressure. Right, go hit me please. I cannot control backward. Right? So let's do just a round punch this way for a moment. If I put my arm up here, I can stop things going forward. But what's stopping him from winding it back? Nothing, right? And there's no guarantee that he's going to come right back to the same place. Right. I don't know. So when we're in these chaotic situations, okay, where it's just a blur, right? Just stuff happening really fast. I'll pull back your arm. So you see, if he pushes forward, I have inside control. If he pulls back, I'm attached to him this way, and there's stuff I can do from there. But I have kind of a front wall and a back wall on his arm. Okay, so in this case, he goes to hit me, boom, boom, like that covers that. But he can just keep winding back, right? And sooner or later, one of those is going to get through. So I want to kind of go beyond, and now it's not going anywhere. Okay.
What was your question? Why not grab from under?
This way?
Yeah. So your left arm, like, you know how you hit her over? She was asking why don't you grab
Like this?
from under there?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Yeah. Listen, if it's early on, right, he's committed to the headlock, maybe actually. Maybe, but once he's punching, I'm gonna lift this vertically to meet his kind of horizontal pressure and then control. Say again?
It adds the perfection.
That's right.
as well.
That's right. Like go slowly with a punch this way. Like me trying to block it this way. I've got that much guarantee that it blocks. But if I go vertically to his horizontal, I've got a much greater range. Even if he goes low to the body, you know, there's a bigger, it's like a shield. You know, it's a bigger shield.
So if he's coming after you vertically, do you want to have a horizontal block?
Pretty much. So if you go here, it would be most of the time that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
When you're coming around the hip during a headlock, do you prefer just going around the hip, or do you prefer trying to get the arm in there if you can?
I like the hand around the hip, but close enough, if you look from the rear, that if I need to, I'm ready. If I feel any pullback at all, I'm right in the vicinity.
So the primary focus is.
Yeah. Again, unless I feel a lot of thrashing, right? Then I may just try to, okay, I don't know what this guy's gonna do. I'm gonna, you know, because usually, as chaotic as self-defense is, there is an aim, right? Like, so for example, don't defend, please. If I have him in a headlock, and I'm trying to pull him to the ground, he can feel, even if he's preventing, he can feel that my aim is to get him to the ground, right? And it's unlikely that there's gonna be a punch at that point, right? But if the energy is kind of indeterminate, I don't know what I feel. This guy's just kind of all over the place. Then you see what he kind of started doing there, pretty instinctively. I don't know what this dude's doing. So I just need to kind of settle in, be the calm in the storm for a minute, make sure I'm not going to take any damage, control distance, and then kind of go from there. Okay. All right. Any other questions on that? Okay. So. Headlock's going to come in again. Again, let's make sure we're not dead with the hips. We're engaged. For now, I'm going to hang on to this arm, especially if I felt like the punch was coming. We're here. Maybe I go for the pinch escape, and this guy's just, he's not having it. I've got the technique poorly. This guy's got super thick jeans. That little pinch escape, which is not very sophisticated but very effective, often works. When something doesn't, just not happening. I cannot sit there and attempt that same thing a bunch of times. So, you can use this as a backup technique. I'll tell you that me personally, I use it as my primary. Okay, so although the most traditional defense is this one, the so-called secondary escape, I personally like better. That doesn't mean that you do too, but I like that one better. Okay, here. The arm that's around the hips is going to come over and beyond as I can get his face. This near side shoulder. I'm going to slide my hand back so that it aligns with his face, and I'm actually pushing on his face, pushing it slightly away. My thumb and the meaty part of my thumb lines up right underneath his mandible, right underneath his jaw. I slide back to the little knob. You guys can feel your own knob back there. And it's hard bone. I'll slip my thumb, as I call it in the kids' class, with the fishhook of death. It's a very ancient name. Push and push in. Now notice what happened to my posture as soon as he let go. It what? Straightened up. Believe it or not, one of the most common things that happens with this technique is this. Why am I still down here? Because I'm inactive with the body. That's why. I'm not conditioned to move. That's why. So, the only reason I'm down here is because Mr. Lesnar put me down here. As soon as his posture straightens up and he moves away, I'm up. I'm not staying down there a moment longer than necessary. So let's just practice just opening that person up. We don't need to take him down. We don't need to get out and go into an Goshi or anything else, although you could. You could. The same way that you use the pinch, you could use here, boom, and move into standard escape. Okay? But for now, we're here, over the top, slide back, actually pressurize against his face. Don't let go, don't let go. Pressurize against his face, slide underneath, and as you pressurize against his face, hook underneath. Here. Whoosh. And then we'll add from there based on rank. Questions? Every once in a while, you'll get someone. I'm a total wimp. That one hurts me bad. It sucks. If it's done right, it's no flat thumb, bent thumb the whole time. Some people come in with a bent thumb, then it becomes flat. Keep it bent. But if at any point you feel like this is not happening, what's the principle of the technique? What are we trying to do to his head?
Try his head move away and use your.
That's right. So whatever that means, if we don't do it one way, we do it the other. You can do the shuto underneath the nose technique. That works too. It has the same effect. You can do both of those at the same time. For those of you who have the pleasure of attacking Master Robert with this one, you'll often know that he goes jaw with one, nose with the other, and then locks you in tight so you have to sit there and suffer with it. Okay? So that works too, but get their head out and away, opening up that space between them and the head. What's happening to them functionally? They get punished with pain and discomfort the more they're committed to the headlock. That makes sense?
Yes.
Eventually, if I put my hand on the hot stove, what's going to happen? I'm going to pull that hand away, and it's not going to take long. Okay? The longer I stay on the stove, the more I get punished. So I'm going to pull that hand away. He's committed to the headlock. Commit to it, commit to it, commit to it. The more he's committed to it, the more pain it feels. And there we are. Listen.
Nice.
Okay, how's your man? Okay. All that talk about all that stuff before you down in the headlock to begin with is going to come into effect now. Okay. Everyone ever see the pull straight down, off balancing bit? How that does not work? You don't know what I'm talking about? Okay. Let me use you. Okay. So you don't do anything for me. Separate your feet a little bit. Make sure you guys are in front of me. If Lydia bends forward just ever so slightly. Okay? Yeah, right there. Just like tiny bit. Easily off balance, right? Easy. Straighten up, please. But if I pull her straight down in a line, straight, hips forward, straight. She's very, very powerful in this position. Make sense?
Go.
So she's bent forward just a little bit, even less. I'm talking like you could barely see it. Right? Off balance easy. Straighten up. Bend your knees slightly. Keep your head and spine straight. She's not going anywhere. So this is a straight. This is effectively what we're doing here. Okay. So he's pulling me what direction? Down. The more I'm like this, what happened in our example? The more, if I start this way, the headlock's coming up. If I already begin slouch, the headlock's coming up. If I begin hips up, put that headlock on, please. Throw your feet up like a princess. It's not happening. It ain't gonna happen. But you have to have your hips engaged. So we're here, brown and higher, hips engaged. Come here just to manipulate the head. We're gonna drop our level, keeping our back straight. Scoop the leg, and then go from there. Not going down. Drop. Now when I say not going down, what do I mean? Not bending forward. Up and down on a vertical, no problem. Hip up, throw. Push. Nice. And you can bring them down like a baby, or you can slam them like Donkey Kong. It's all up to you at that point. Then you can Whoosh. Others, we're gonna go back to what we were just doing. You're here, got you a little bit. Secure the arm, over, slide back, push in. I'm gonna keep driving. As my posture comes up and his goes back, I'll play telephone between my ear and my shoulder with his arm. The other arm will come here, and I'll take at least 2 steps, left to right, right, out. So you know in the beginning of class when we do this kind of warm up, the Ashibadai movement, similar. So we're here, begin to break the posture. Don't even think about moving until that posture starts breaking. The feet, I'm gonna go super slow. 1, 2. Notice what's still attached. What's still attached, Dr. Mike? The whole thing. All up in his face. I'm telling you right now what the main error is going to be. Okay? Where'd he go? You have to follow him. You have to bend your knees. You have to move your feet. Not going to disconnect. Then we'll do whatever from there. Yes. Yes.
Can see the arm pass through.
So, same here, hip in, push, you can even cup here if you've got good posture.
I meant this one here at the end.
That was just fun. I crossed over here and I used his leg to bar his arm. That was just fancy.
What throw is that called?
Sukui-nage.
Is there a point where your hips go underneath his? Is there anywhere on? I know it's supposed to, but is there a place or a point, or is it just as?
I want to become like what he would sit on, like a seat.
Okay.
And straight up underneath him. Once he goes airborne, then it's about rotation. So bring me down again, please. Let your feet go. At this point, it's about spinning him. He's not bringing me down. Okay, so here. Boom. He's up. Basically, I'm here, and I'm here. If I wanted to keep going, head first, then it would be head first. You follow? Yes. Obviously, be careful with your partner. Last time. Or do both. Lower. You got to a little bit. Get him off balance. Step, step. Hold that on. Keep it under control. Finish as needed. Whoosh. Okay. How'd you make me talk about this man not disconnecting? Okay. Now watch this hand very carefully. That hand never disconnected. Whoosh. The idea is that you don't let them fall and separate away from you. I'm ahead of him. My feet are not back here trying and falling over to stay with him. Move your feet. Move them quick, short little shuffle steps. Here, with him. Push.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, if you can't move like that here, or we're practicing in self-defense, how are you gonna be able to move like that?
Yeah. Remember we talked last week, when you're striking with the what? Body, right? You have something that makes contact with the attacker, the uke, but it's the body behind whatever ultimately makes contact. So it could be my fist, but it's the body into the backing up the fist. Same difference here. It's not my hand and arm doing the technique. It's the body and the arms. It's like having a pull, being driven by, you know, a knight and a horse. Wuss, right? That's what it was. Joust. Is it joust? Yeah, joust. You know, backed up. Yeah, something like that. Make sense?
Yes.
Have to condition the body to move with you. Okay? All right, a couple more times. Then we're gonna